Hi everyone, I'm here with another true story from Miracles Do Happen. This is actually the last story, and then I got just a few things to go over in the next video. But this story is really short, and it's by Elizabeth M. Garrett, and it is called Angels Need Tools Too. So let's see what it gets into here. What was wrong with me? I couldn't shake the feeling that something unsettling might happen. Don't you hate that feeling? That something's not right. The 200-mile round trip my husband drove daily concerned me. I constantly struggled with the fear of losing him. I know how that is. Every day. I tried to concentrate on my day's work, but the words ran together on my computer screen. I glanced at the clock. 2 p.m. He was always home by 1:30. Knots formed in my stomach. Where could he be? I paced the floor and kept on glancing out the window. He's okay. He's just running errands. Relax. Then the phone rang. Is this Mrs. Garrett? Please no. Yes, I answered. My heart beat so loudly I could hardly hear the voice. I'm an emergency medical technician, and I'm here with your husband, Philip. He's okay. I don't want you to worry, but he's been in a bad accident. You should get here as quickly as possible. What did he mean? How good is okay, and how bad is bad? They were less than a mile from our home, and as I left our neighborhood, a highway patrol officer flagged me down. Ma'am, I'm afraid you can't go that way, he said. There's been a terrible accident, and we have the road closed for miles. Yes, I know. That's my husband, I said. I'll radio ahead that you're on your way. The state troopers guided me through the wreckage towards the ambulance. I saw crushed black metal and upturned wheels. Wow, that vehicle is smashed flat, I gasped, realizing it was the truck my husband had driven for 16 years. Glass, tire rims, and other assorted pieces were scattered around the area. The other vehicle sat in a driveway about 100 yards away, where the driver had missed the house by about a half inch. I held my breath as I climbed into the ambulance. My husband was sitting on a stool and appeared to be having a friendly conversation with emergency crew members. Aside from minor scrapes, he looked okay. The crew assured me he was fine and advised me to take him home to an emergency room as precaution. As we walked to the car, a highway patrolman pulled Philip aside. I know you were wearing a seatbelt. I don't even have to ask, he said. Philip's eyes darted. How do you know? The officer walked us to the truck and pointed at the buckled seatbelt, still covered in glass shards. Philip, I gasped, how did you escape? I'm not sure. I remember the other car veering into my lane. At first, I thought the driver was on the phone and hoped she would look up and pull back over. I tried getting out of the way, but obviously not far enough. Philip described how their tires looked, which caused him to spin several times and flip. I started spinning where those skid marks are. Way over there, he pointed at a place 30 feet from where the truck had landed. Amazed he was still alive, I begged him to tell me the rest. The door was crushed, so clearly he didn't use it for an escape route. When I flipped over, I realized I was alive. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me alive. Please, God, get me out of here, please, was all I could say, and I kept repeating it. He took a deep breath and continued his story. I had dangled upside down for a few minutes when a woman and her son started banging against the door. The teenage boy hit the window with his cell phone, which smashed his phone and knocked the glass. As I observed the damage, I realized somebody or something had to have broken the window, as a large piece was missing, yet the rest was still hanging on inside the frame, shattered into tiny pieces. Shaking his head, Philip admitted things just didn't make sense. The next thing he remembered was sitting on the ground outside the truck. He mentioned the woman was a nurse and checked him out to make sure he was okay. She and her son offered to stay with me until the ambulance arrived, Philip said. I asked her how I got out. She paused. It's the oddest thing. She said an older man with dark skin came out of nowhere and broke the window with a hammer. Then she and her son pulled me from the truck. I asked where the man was so I could thank him. She said he just disappeared after smashing the window. No one else or any other vehicle had even arrived. Immediately, I knew God had answered my prayer for Philip's safety. Also, God had heard Philip's plea to free him from the truck. At the hospital, they concluded my husband was fine, except for a few small shards of glass in his head and minimal scratches. I had a lot of glass in my head, too, when I got in a wreck. Everywhere. It sounds like you were very fortunate, the emergency room nurse said. I can't believe you even survived. The next day, we visited the wrecked vehicle to salvage personal belongings. The truck was turned right side up. Glass covered the seats, and the cab almost touched the top of the driver's seat. Ugh. We stood with our mouths open, surprised to see just enough room to reach inside the cab, but not without getting cut. Yet my husband had survived with only a few scratches. To this day, we still wonder how Philip escaped. In a world where logic rules, eyewitnesses, accounts, and evidence couldn't explain it, seems to me a supernatural force intervened. While I can easily accept that angels come in different forms, I still struggle with envisioning one carrying a hammer. Philip, a cabinet maker, always tells me he has to have the right tools. I guess that goes for angels, too. Wow, I think it was an angel, and I think it was an angel that was at my wreck as well and helped me. I believe that, and I will always, always believe that she was an angel. Because she came out of nowhere, took care of everything, and then she was gone. I don't know where she came from. And said she was an off-duty highway patrol officer, an off-duty police officer. She was taking her kids on vacation. I didn't even know kids there. Just like right there. I didn't even see a car. She was an angel. I don't care what anybody tells me. I know she was. Just like I believe an angel pulled this guy out of his truck. A lot of people don't believe it, though, unless something happens to them. That's why a lot of people don't tell stuff like that. That's why I've never really shared with anybody about my wreck. Except for, you know, family here, my husband. Because people look at you like you're crazy when you say stuff like that. Because they don't believe it unless something happens to them, you know. So, I got so many stories I could tell. But I don't want to get into that. Like I said, a lot of people just think you're crazy when you say stuff like that. So it's hard to find the right person to even talk to about those kind of things. But I hope you guys enjoyed this book. We've read it for a while now together. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye, guys.